Hello and welcome back to Jake. Oh, that I don't know. Okay, this is Week in Movie Bros. I'm Jacob's here, and I think I started too soon. So, who are you?
I'm Ray, and this is the wrong show.
Did I say Week in Movie Bros?
No, you first start off saying, "Hi, I'm Jacob from Jacob is here."
Yeah, I am Jacob from Jacob is here.
Oh, never mind.
You are Ray from RZ Jones 18! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! I'm
Yeah.
not wrong with my. I know what we're
No.
doing. It's not like when I did the Harley Quinn thing. I said, "Hello, I'm Jacob from Jacob's Books Corner," and then went into the reaction without correcting myself. It's not like that. So. Do you want to describe what we're doing today? Since I did the intro.
So today's podcast is going to be kind of different. As we all know, this weekend brings in the new year, and so we decided that we're going to finally do our top 10. Or well, I have a 10. I don't know how
I don't
many
know
you
how many I
got.
have. I don't know.
We're going to do our top films of the year, our worst movies of the year, and since it's also the end of a decade, we're going to do our worst and best movie of the decade, plus our most disappointing movies of the year, also approve or disapprove, and that'll be the podcast today.
Yep, and we also want to mention that today is technically the final episode for season 1. Now, that is not to say that we'll have a few extra episodes before season 2, as we are covering award season up until February, but technically we are off until February, like the first weekend of
Um,
February.
so before we begin, I have two breaking news reports, real quick. I want to get into.
Okay.
Cats has
Um,
been pulled from awards consideration due to box office and the redo of the movie had been pulled from award contention.
where was your
Also,
source for that?
Variety.
Okay.
Also from Variety, Ryan Reynolds
Oh,
confirmed that Deadpool 3 is happening within Marvel Studios. It got confirmed today on Live with Tom and Kelly.
yep.
So it
I
got
knew about
confirmed. Which I think those are two kind of significant stories. I mean, it sucks for Cats, but it did it to itself, and at least we all can now officially say Marvel Studios is doing Deadpool 3, not
that.
Fox. It's going to be an R-rated Marvel Studios movie, which is kind of cool.
Where'd you go?
Oh, I don't know.
You went somewhere. I'm gonna continue talking.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very excited for both those news stories. Thank you for bringing them to this podcast, as that's not what we're talking about today. That's why it's kind of weird. But we figured this would be the best way to talk about our top movies and things like that. We're just going to give kind of simple answers of reasons why we rank them this way, more and more as we go higher up the list, and then kind of how we go. If you click on camera and mic, you might be able to reset it, by the way. Do you see that?
Yeah. There we
Oh, there you
go.
go.
That was
Oh, did
weird.
you? I agree. Oh, you muted yourself somehow.
There we go. Hi.
Okay, talk. All right, hi. Yeah, I had some problems with that. We're just gonna have to continue playing around with it, basically. All right, so
But
you ready?
no. Yeah, I'm ready.
Or are you gonna say? Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'm ready. We're good.
Okay, so basically how this is going to work is we're going to go back and forth. We're going to start with worst movies and most disappointing. The worst movies, we both made our own lists. Zachary has 2. I have more than 2, so I'll talk probably more. And then we each chose a most surprising and most disappointing movie, and so there's only one on that particular list. Make sense? I think so.
I
All right.
actually have three disappointing movies.
Oh, I have 2 most surprising and 1 disappointing.
Okay. So do you want to go 3, 3, 2, 2, and then 1, 1?
Do you have 3 worst movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, my bad. I have two. My bad. I have two.
Yeah. So I'm going to list off my 5, 4, and 3, and then we'll go back and forth for the 2. You'll say your 2. I'll say my 2. You'll say your 1. I'll say my 1. That
Okay.
make sense?
Works for me.
All right. So my number 5. This is no in particular order except for like the top 2. Those are in order. Everything else below it, they kind of all rank together. They're equally horrible. All these movies were ranked 2 stars or below, just to give you a heads up. I wouldn't put anything less than that basically on this list anyways, but just for anybody who is listening or watching. So we have The Dead Don't Die, which is the Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Selena Gomez big movie that came out for zombies. I personally just thought it was a little too weird for my own personal taste. And also Chloe Savage, who I've never liked in anything I've ever seen her in, was particularly horrible in this movie, and it really ruined the whole entire experience. And also the song itself, The Dead Don't Die, it's played so often and it's so meta that it actually ruins, I think, the movie personally for myself. Obviously, you could have a different opinion, and we're not trying to offend anybody by saying these different things. We respect your choices in liking these movies that we didn't like. But
put your list in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about the year.
yes, if you're watching on YouTube, please put your list in the comment section. If you're watching it through podcast, you can always tweet us with your list at weekend at bros_weekend or something like that. Sorry, you should go to our YouTube. It's there. I don't know it by heart. Also, for number 4 is Black Christmas. I've been really tempted to figure out where we put this movie because on one end, I really liked it. I really want it in like maybe most. It's a disappointing movie because I was really excited for it, but it wasn't most disappointing, so it didn't deserve bad spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it got worse. It's just the truth. I need to see it again. Maybe it'll move. I don't really think this is a solid like worst movie of the year type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a contender, so it deserves a spot here. The third one is Ma. Ugh, Ma, bad. Oh, that was horrible. Ironically, most of these movies are horror films. I'm not shocked. Zachary, you're number 2.
My number 2?
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 worst movie of the year is Michael Bay's Six Underground.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
I
didn't watch that one yet. Continue.
I don't know why I was so shocked that I would hate this movie. When Michael Bay is strong, he's strong. This was his worst movie, in my opinion, of his career. It's worse than my least favorite 2 Transformers movies. Because the acting is wooden. The action sequences. So we watched Hobbs and Shaw over the weekend. And those are prolonged sequences of action. But there's a difference between that action and the Six Underground action. The comedy works. Ryan Reynolds does his best to save this movie. It just doesn't work. The overall cast doesn't work well together. They're kind of superheroes in the movie, and it's really weird. The cinematography was god awful. It was terrible. I didn't get to review it, but I gave it a 2 out of 10. I hated this movie. It was bad.
My number 2 is Creep. It is actually not from this release year. It's from 2013. It is a movie about a man who wants to. He is dying, I guess, and so he wants to vlog a thing for his child that is unborn, and he's a little weird. It was a really weird movie, and I particularly freaking hated it. But the reason why it's not number 1, because it was for a hot minute, and then I was like, no, this is totally number 1, which we'll get to. I'm sure you know what it is. I'm sure you do. But the reason why it's not number 1 is because I did audibly laugh several times with the movie and at the movie. And it did shock me. The ending scene, the final scene on camera, was really haunting and shocking. And so it wasn't you know what I mean? It's a horrible movie. Highly don't recommend. But also, it doesn't deserve number 1 because I did enjoy it to an extent. It's like a 2.5 star or something like that. Your number 1 choice?
My number 1 worst movie of the year is a DC animated production. Is Batman Hush. I was very much looking forward to this adaptation. I love this comic to death. It's my favorite Batman story. It's also my favorite Batman Catwoman story. I love their connection in this movie. They make Catwoman a very one-note character in this film. All the villains make no sense, and the reveal of Hush wasn't as intimidating as it was in the book. Jason O'Mara, who usually nails Batman in this animated continuity, was absolutely dreadful in this film. I don't know what happened with him when they were recording audio. It just didn't work. I was really close in putting Suicide Squad Hell to Pay as my number 1 worst movie of the year because the acting in that wasn't, and the story wasn't good either. But I just remembered how bad this movie was, and It's unwatchable. It's really one of the worst movies of the year. So I've made my number one.
Okay. So my number one movie, do you want to take a guess, Zachary? What is the one movie I hated before I saw it and I hated after I saw it?
Child's Play.
Child's Play. That is true. The Chucky doll made the number one spot. Now, I do want to mention, because I do like, when I say anything badly about a movie, I do like to give it compliments in return, because that's just respectable. I mean, I've seen some pretty bad things where there is no compliments to give or whatever. But with this one, I've never seen Aubrey Plaza look more beautiful. Her makeup team and stuff really did very well, so I have to recommend for that good reason. And also, Aubrey Plaza in general, I've never seen her so strong. So ultimately, it does make me sad knowing that this is the worst movie of the year. I gave it 1 star, and that was being actually I don't think I think I gave it half a star, like half a star out of 5, if I'm not mistaken. It was god awful. And then, oh my gosh, the continuity errors and everything, it still pisses me off to this day. Like, if you're going to go somewhere, you should go somewhere. Not, And then also, Mark Hamill himself, I did not like the voice acting, which we talked about and things.
Yeah,
And then also, the design of Chucky in general, I thought he was very, for being
weird.
CGI, he looked very bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely my worst movie, which I don't think is shocking to anybody personally, if you know me personally, or you've heard me talk about it at all. And if you've been listening to these podcasts, you've heard me talk about it.
Yeah. We talk about Child's Play a lot on this channel.
So, moving on to most disappointing.
I'll start this one off.
That's fine.
So I have 4 most disappointing movies of the year.
So
and
you will go all the way up until your number one, and we'll go back and forth for number one because I only have one.
Okay. So my number 4 most disappointing movie of the year was The Irishman. I've been looking forward to this film all year. It's Scorsese, Pesci, Pacino, De Niro. I was expecting a powerhouse film, and what I got was a 4-story act structure that couldn't hold its runtime together. The acting in this movie is incredible. It is strong, but the main actor is its weakest part. De Niro was not very good in this movie. I thought Pesci and Pacino were at their strongest. The fact that Scorsese got Pesci to come out of retirement to do this movie, and he gave that kind of performance, I hope he gets recognized at the Oscars this year, because Pesci was absolutely incredible. Same thing with Pacino. This was the quietest I've seen Pacino in any kind of movie, where he's not like overly going crazy or whatever, but he was calm, he was perspective, and when he had to be loud, he was loud. And also, I want to give her a shout because someone's talking about her. Anna Paquin in this movie, for the short scenes that she's in, she's very moving in this movie. I thought she worked really well as the daughter of De Niro's character. De Niro didn't work at all. And the de-aging. Oh boy. There are some certain scenes that look incredible, but there's a certain shot in the light during a war scene. My number 3 most disappointing movie of the year is in your top 10. I know it for a fact. Frozen 2. Now, what people don't know is that this year I got to see both of these movies within the same year. I'd never seen Frozen before, so I got to watch Frozen for the first time. Thought it was okay. Music was really good, but I thought the story was okay. It reversed on me with this one. I thought the music was really strong, and I thought that the story was good. My issue with the movie was that it was very predictable. I kind of saw where things were going, and I have issue when films play with your heart. I know they're supposed to get emotion out of you, but there's times when you do it and it makes sense. And then there's times you're like, oh, it's Disney. You're not going to kill off one of your most popular characters in the world. Olaf's not going to die. So it took away all that emotion from Anna's moments in the cave for me at all. So, yeah. Disney's on this list twice. My number 2 most disappointing movie of the year is Detective Pikachu. I was looking forward to this film throughout the latter half of last year, looking into it in May, and all it was a yellow furball talking like Deadpool. and I couldn't get past it. I really couldn't. It was so hard to get past it. The animation in this movie, though, is gorgeous. All the Pokemon looked incredible. I loved how realized the Sinnoh region was. I thought the main actor in the movie was really, really, really good. But it was Ryan. Ryan took me out of the movie. I couldn't do it. It was just watching Deadpool. And I didn't need that. I wanted Ryan to be something different with the character, and he was just Ryan, and I wanted more out of it. But my number one most disappointing movie of the Oh, you go. Sorry.
I also, because I need to defend Detective. It's in my blood, literally in my blood.
But you can't deny it.
Ryan Reynolds had to play Deadpool because that's what he was contractually to do. He wanted to do something differently. We talked about this, and he wasn't allowed. They literally told him no. So technically, do not fault Ryan Reynolds, fault Warner Brothers.
It's my opinion.
Your opinion is wrong. So, moving forward, none of your guys' opinion watching this, in case any of these movies are your most disappointing or your most surprising or your best or whatever. Yeah, moving forward. My only most disappointing movie, because I didn't think of putting several on here, is Crawl. When Crawl's trailer released, I was excited. I was anticipating. It was one of my most anticipated horror movies of the year. And when I finally got to watch it,
we all watched it together.
No, not the first time I watched it. That's the second time.
Oh.
I'd already seen it. I was very much disappointed. I thought the CGI was pretty good, but the acting really wasn't there for me. I thought it was kind of stilted a little bit, which really sucks because I think Kay Sakaro can really act. Like, I've seen her really, really act before. But overall, with the movie in general, I just thought there was something about it that was just off, and I didn't really enjoy as much, and I was really disappointed. Even watching it the second time, hoping that maybe possibly, it could be better. It wasn't better, and that does make me sad. I also, have an honorable mention for my worst movies.
Oh, you do?
Remembered. That would be Toy Story 4. Just remembered it. So, we can move
forward. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did you just remember because of what I did in my disappointing list?
Yeah. No, generally. It was actually, no, I was going to be like, oh, it's probably my most disappointing. No, I wasn't looking forward to that movie at all. It was truly just the worst movie. Yeah, no. All right, moving on to the best movies. Now, ironically, Zachary, I have 10 too. I just counted.
I have 2 honorable mentions that did not make the list.
Okay, so I'm going to make it top 10 best movies anyways on the scroll. So even if you don't have them, that's where they're going to go anyways.
Okay.
So here we go. And then we'll go through most surprising, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do a little bit later.
In our decade.
Do you...
And then the decade movies.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah.
Do you want to go first or want me to go first?
I can go first. It's fine.
Do you have honorable mentions?
I mean, mine are just listed in 10 format. So, do you want to say
I have 2 honorable mentions that didn't make my list.
And then your top 10?
Yeah.
You have 12 technically? Okay, then you can go first.
So the 2 films that didn't make my list were John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, and Toy Story 4. John Wick Chapter 3 didn't make it because I saw another really, really, really fantastic action movie this year. And John Wick 3 is incredible. John Wick 3 is mesmerizing. Oddly enough, the same director directed the one that made my list. Toy Story 4, again, I love this movie to death. It's just I saw another animated film this year that was far superior. And you're going to be shocked of what I replaced Toy Story 4 with, let me tell you. But those 2 just didn't make the list this year. And, not taking away from them, they're both fantastic. I just saw some other films that were a lot better than those ones.
I would say if I did have an honorable mention that probably wouldn't make my best movies list would be either This Isn't Romantic with Rebel Wilson, or
great movie.
Godzilla, Gods and Monsters also did not make my list. But it was still a very, very well done movie. It got 4 stars to me. I would still recommend you see it, even though it's not.
It's a good popcorn flick.
So, starting with my number 10, I'm going to be kind of judged. So I just want to... Don't worry, it's the only one on here that I'm going to be truly judged for. Everything else should be agreeable. in some shape or form. So we're just going to get into it. It is after the adaptation by Anna Todd made my top 10 lists of the year.
I don't know what it is.
It's okay. It's about a girl who goes to college and she ends up losing her virginity to a bad boy. And it's about the moments after that happens. It's simply what it's about. It's still one of my favorite movies to this day. It'll probably make it possibly onto my all-time. And it's also the sequel is also my most anticipated movies for next year. I watched it 5 times in theaters. I figured it should probably be mentioned somewhere on this list. That's all I'm going to talk about this. Just know I really liked it. I know you probably hate it, whoever's watching this. Okay, you can.
So, this is what I was talking about when it came to the film that replaced John Wick Chapter 3. My number 10 movie of the year is something I literally watched a day ago, but I have so much freaking fun watching this movie, and that would be Hobbs and Shaw. Again, much like with Godzilla, really screwed the pooch in not seeing this movie in theaters. This movie was incredible. Once again, David Leitch is continuously proving of how strong of an action director he is. And I feel like this outing was so much better than Deadpool 2. I loved the chemistry between The Rock and Jason Statham and Vanessa Kirby was incredible. I thought Idris Elba was a fantastic villain. I understood his motivations. I thought the stuff between him and Statham was really, really strong. The action sequence in this movie, the final battle is so good. And then if you have the Blu-ray, you can watch an entirely different film because there's deleted extended scenes out the wazoo with an alternate opening, which was really, really bad. But no, this is action at his finest. And I'm not going to lie, I hope Leitch comes back for the sequel if they do one and there is a cameo in this movie. I'm not going to say who. Blew my mind. Just blew my mind. But no, number 10 for me is Hobbs and Shaw. I had a blast watching this movie. Blast watching it. No pun intended.
So my number 9 is Zombieland Double Tap. Is my number 9. And the reason why it's not any higher up on my list, as it is one of my favorite movies of the year, obviously, since that's what we're talking about right now, is simply because I saw other movies that I thought deserved a higher ranking. But overall, I highly recommend this movie. The one scene alone, I'm not going to give it away, but you'll know it when you see it, because you should see it.
We analyzed it to death.
We did, clearly. Is still by far one of my favorite action scenes out of this year. It's not my favorite, but it's by far one of my favorites if I had to rank action scenes and set pieces and things. And also just the chemistry and how intense it was and how much you really truly want all these characters to live and how much you really do love almost all the new characters. There's a few bad ones, but ultimately, you kind of grow to love even the worst ones. And so overall, it's an amazing sequel, and I really do hope there's a third one. We don't technically need one, and if we don't have one, I'm not going to cry about it, but I still kind of want another one.
Hey Jake, you want to know what number 9 movie of the year is?
What?
You want to know?
Zombieland.
Yeah. And I didn't have to say anything. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, that's good. So I can just move on.
Just move on.
Oh, the acting is by far really good. Abigail Breslin is still by far the weakest link, but she isn't really acting anymore, so I'm not gonna.
My favorite performance of the film is either Rosario Dawson or Woody Harrelson.
My favorite performance, Woody Harrelson is an amazing actor in this movie. Truly, if you don't
so
think
good.
He can act, this is the movie to watch. Personally,
He's so good in this movie.
But Zoe Deutsch is still by far my favorite.
She's strong.
Her mask.
Not gonna lie, her character gets annoying.
Just because I know she's nothing like Madison, like at all.
Yeah.
And she does a total 180 for this movie. It's phenomenal.
And she's really funny in the movie.
Ow, that really hurt.
Was that sarcasm? Was it?
Okay.
She's so good in this movie.
My number 8 has already been talked about.
Ooh.
I defended it, if that means anything. No, it's Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Ah,
Is my number 8. Now, we're going to talk about all the reasons why Zachary was wrong. Because, that's what we do here. Zachary is wrong because of A. Ryan Reynolds was amazing. Because of B. Pikachu was amazing. Because of C. Did you see Pikachu? Because of D. Did you see Pikachu? Because of E. Did you see Pikachu? Also,
Jacob, can I ask you a question?
not done yet.
Was the rest of the movie good?
I'm getting there. First, you gotta see Pikachu. Honestly, truly, have you seen Pikachu? But also, Ryan Reynolds was also very funny as Pikachu. Having seen it now 5 times, I can officially say it's an amazing. And it took me a very long time to like the ending. Like a long time because when we saw it in theaters, it was very childish and very
Yes.
immature ending. But I have to say, it has truly grown on me. And the old man still annoys me without giving spoilers, but still, it's still a great movie, which is why it's not higher up on this list because it does have major flaws, but it's still
Yeah.
a movie that I can't wait to own and just
Mhm.
watch anyways, even with its flaws.
So my number 8 is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now, it did make my most disappointing list, but it's not going to take away from the fact that I had a fucking blast last night watching this movie. It is entertaining. It's really funny. The acting in it from everybody is really strong, minus Ian McDermott. But I'm not going to get into spoilers because of how relatively new this movie is. The disappointment about this movie really hurts it and makes it number 8. But it's not going to take away from the fact that I had a blast watching Star Wars for the last time till 2022 in theaters, and it's not going to take that away from it.
So, Zachary, do you want to know what my number 7 is?
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Did I take the words out of your mouth?
No, they didn't.
Oh.
The only reason why this is not higher up on my list, because truly, and I really cannot wait to see this again. It did so many things for me. I had so many guys. You don't understand, which we'll talk about more when we get into. We're doing a whole spoiler discussion about the movie. But I had so many cold chills running down my body for at least an hour and a half of this movie in total, like head to toe. My body was on fire. So the only reason why it's not higher is simply because I couldn't choose a number 1, and so I had to pick 6.
Okay.
So yeah, I saw a lot of good movies this year, and that's just what happened. All right, your turn.
So, number 7, again, it's on my disappointing list, but I'm not going to take away from the fact that I had a blast watching this movie in theaters, is Detective Pikachu. Now, not taking away from what I said, the movie is still fun. It's very funny. The acting in it's really good. I feel like I just said this. And I really enjoyed the story. But again, it's not a spoiler talking about it. Ryan really took me out of the movie. But I had a blast watching this movie in theater with you. There is a moment this year that I will never forget watching this movie in theaters with you. When he starts singing the song and our theater sings with him, I'll never forget that. That is a moment I will remember for the entire year. It was a beautiful moment with a crowd that absolutely loved Pokemon, and it was awesome.
So you're only
So
going to
that was my
remember
number
it
7.
for 4 more days?
Huh?
You're only going to remember it for 4 more days?
I'll remember it for the rest of my life.
There you go. Little weirdo. So number 6, Zachary, do you think you can guess what my number 6 is?
Captain Marvel.
She didn't make the list.
Ooh, that's intriguing. I have no idea.
She'd be like an honorable mention, if I'm being honest. Not good enough to be here, but good enough to say I was invited, but didn't actually attend. Number 6 is Spider-Man: Far From Home, which should be a little bit shocking because I'm pretty sure you thought I enjoyed another movie less than this. Yet that movie has yet to be talked about. So where could that be? Spider-Man: Far From Home is by far, and even though it is not ranked higher than another movie, it's still by far my favorite and one of my MCU movies. Tom Holland, never been a huge fan. I mean, I thought he was a great actor, really funny, but I never liked him as actual Spider-Man. Like, never. Truly, not. I've been vocal about it. But Spider-Man: Far From Home, it changed. every single thing. He did everything a Spider-Man fan wanted, and then like 20,000 times more. It was a beauty to behold. And I'm so happy I got to see it twice in theaters. I got to see the normal version and the extended cut. And the extended cut was so much better, which is why it's kind of sad we don't get to see it like at home, because they didn't.
Yeah, it's a freaking add-on scene you have to go watch.
And there's
Which I
other
think is
scenes that they cut out entirely that I got to see, which is super
yeah.
cool. And it's a nice experience to say, hey, I got to see the special version that no one else is going to get to see. It's an amazing movie. I can't stop talking about it. I'm going to stop talking about it because, we have a time strain here and you kind of need to go, but still very good.
So, Jake,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen 3 animated films this year. I've
Mm-hmm.
talked about 2 of them. So
Mm-hmm.
what movie kicked Toy Story 4 off my top 10 list?
It did not.
Yes, it did.
Oh my God.
My number 6 movie of the year is Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I want to mention, just real fast, he does have a review. It is on the channel.
This movie is incredible. I don't know how this works. How in my mind I was like, sure, Turtles and Batman makes sense together. But it does. These characters are so rich in this movie. The way Batman and Leo go against each other with their leadership skills, Raph and Robin against like their brutality and their anger, Batgirl and Donnie with their science-y and all this weird stuff. But my favorite connection in this film is Michelangelo and Alfred. The straight humor versus the dry humor. And they work so well together in this movie. My favorite scene in any film this year is the Arkham Asylum fights versus the mutated Batman villains versus everybody. It is funny. It's endearing. It makes Turtles curse, which you have some great you have a great word describing this movie. And yeah, there's a lot of that in this movie. And the ending is awesome. I'm really excited to see what they do with the sequel if they do it. But no, Batman vs. TMNT kicked Toy Story 4 off my list and made the number 6 spot.
Well, I have no opinions about this whatsoever. And yet I have all the opinions, and I'm not going to mention
You're like Trixie.
I'm not going to.
So I have a question. No, I have all the questions.
I'm not going to mention my opinions now because this is your top 10 list, even though I think you might be making it wrong. But then, not me. So, my number 5 is actually a movie that didn't come out this year, which is nice. It's refreshing to have a movie that didn't come out this year make the top 10. Now, technically, you could fight. This is the top 10 movies of 2019. You could surely
but it's a movie. But you saw it from previous years and this year.
Yes, it's from last year. I mean, it's not like I waited a whole long time to watch this movie, but I didn't realize I watched this movie this year. And so I was doing research, and I was like, oh shit, I did watch it this year. And that is Assassination Nation. By far one of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen it, I don't even know how many times by now. And it is beautiful. It is shot. Oh my God, it is shot so well. Oh, why didn't he win an award? I still don't understand. People, make me so mad. But with that being said, the acting is very good and the story is very true, which is probably why it didn't win an award because it was a little too close to home. I get it. It is what it is. But I still highly recommend it. But just know that there's a lot of bad things in this movie. And it could be a really bad experience for people who don't know what they're walking into. So do some research first because it's real hard to watch. And I've seen it like 100 times.
So my number 5 film of the year is Godzilla King of the Monsters. This movie legit shocked me. It really did. It's actually my most surprising movie of the year as well. This movie literally came out of left field. And all I have to say is, say it with me, Jacob. IMAX. The fight sequences in this movie are so good. The last fight is... But the biggest part of this movie is that this movie got what the other one didn't. We don't care about the humans. We care about the fighting. And that's what they focused on. And it was awesome. But that's not to say the humans were a bad part of this movie. I actually enjoyed the story with the humans. It was endearing. When the I don't want to get his name wrong. The guy who sacrificed himself to help Godzilla. The guy really liked Godzilla.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The Asian.
I don't want to say his name wrong, so I'm not going to try to say it.
That's
his performance in the entire film was the strongest performance of the movie, human-wise. But let's not beat around the bush. I thought Millie Bobby Brown was okay in this movie.
Oh, hold on.
I really thought she was okay. But the standout, obviously, was Godzilla. I loved how they did him in this movie. He was intimidating. He was funny. And the action scenes were fantastic. So, yeah, Godzilla's number 5.
So, my number 4, I kept winking about it. Can you guess what my number 4 movie of the year is?
Avengers Endgame.
It is Avengers Endgame, and I can't wait to talk more about Avengers Endgame because we haven't talked about it enough on this channel. It started with Avengers Endgame. It will end with Avengers Endgame.
If you guys want to hear our opinions about this movie, go watch our 2.5-hour spoiler review.
I think it's longer than that, if I'm not lying to myself. I think it's like close to the... It's like the whole movie. Like, you can watch the whole movie and us and be about to say. But either way, Avengers Endgame did so many things right. So many moments I will never forget sitting in the movie theater watching. Truly was one of the best movies I have ever seen. And I mean that. And I truly will contest to it until I die. There's just moments that I will never be able to explain to somebody, and once they went through them myself, how you feel about this movie. And that's just the honest truth. And that's the best way I can describe this movie to you, is that it did so much for me personally that even if you have different opinions about it, I know a lot of people loved it, but I also know a lot of people who loved it on initial watch and are starting to not love it as much now as we've seen like a billion times. I still think it's an amazing movie, and I still can't. It's just one of those movies. And for anybody who's ever seen the movie, they can agree that it's enjoyable at least, even if you don't love it as much as some other people do. What is your number 4?
My number 4 didn't make your list. And that would be Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah, no, didn't make my list.
So I'm actually I've been doing rewatches of some of the Marvel movies from the past 3 years, just to see if they hold up still. And when I initially saw this movie, you're with me, I didn't like it. I thought it was okay.
Marvel.
Oh,
yes, I was.
Yeah.
I saw it. No, not the first time you saw it.
The second time.
Yes. I forgot about that.
But I didn't like this movie. I thought it was okay. Rewatching this movie, it is incredible. I just didn't really realize it when watching it the first time. I think the Skrull stuff in this movie is awesome. I think Spider-Man helped, but the Skrull stuff in this movie, I really care about them. Because that was my biggest issue with the movie, is how much they were changing the Skrull part. But now that I understand why they're doing it, it makes sense. And I really like, and I love Ben Mendelsohn in this movie. He is incredible in this movie. But I don't want to shy away from her. Her performance, Brie Larson's performance, has really grown on me. She's very dry humored in this movie. I just didn't realize that was what they were going for with her. And her and Samuel Jackson going back and forth are just perfect. Perfect. And Lashana Lynch. Do not sleep on this girl, guys. Seriously, do not sleep on her. I will detest to the end of time. She's the best part of that new Bond trailer. Best part of this trailer. And she is, again, one of the best things about this. And also, they're setting up the little girl for WandaVision. And now I want to know more about her. So, yeah, for some odd reason, Captain Marvel went right up. I love this movie. I love it. So, yeah, that's my number 4.
My number 3, Zachary. By the way, once you know what these next 2 are, you will know what my number 1 movie is. I want to mention right now that these will basically from 4 and up are practically all number ones, but the rules state that you can have multiple number one movies of the year. It's fine. I will choose one, but just know I am biased and I picked 4. But the way the order they fell in was number 3 is Frozen 2. So what is my number 1, Zachary? There's a few choices you could pick from. Mm-hmm. But either way, I chose Frozen 2 simply because, one, it was another one of those movies that it just truly spoke to me, like, inside, that we also need a gay icon, and you can fight me in the comments. I don't care. No one has yet to fight me for my Frozen 2 review, so I don't think you're going to, but if you want to, you can. She is a gay icon. It's the truth. There's diamonds that are. It's just the truth. Moving on.
Jacob, Elsa, you got to say her name if you're going to say this. Who are you talking about?
Okay, Elsa, guys.
There you go.
Elsa from Arendelle. Oh, Elsa. Bye. Okay, you know. Elsa. This beauty. But the songs in particular were very, very well done. I enjoyed them all. The performances were amazing. It was funny, and it was even better the second time. And I can't wait to see it the third time on New Year's. It's how I'm starting my new year, and you best believe it's starting out very strong. And I cannot wait.
While you're starting with Frozen, I'm starting with Star Wars.
That was my number 3.
So my number 3 was, I think, your number 6, and that's Spider-Man: Far From Home. I absolutely, without a doubt, can officially say this after really thinking about it. This is the best Spider-Man movie of any of them. I think it's better than Into the Spider-Verse. I think it's better than the entire Raimi trilogy. I don't know how Marvel and Mark and they did it, but they did. This felt like the most Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. Mysterio is the best villain of the year. Jake Gyllenhaal gives the performance of his career, in my opinion, in this movie. I loved him, but the twist in this movie is just fucking beautiful.
Spoiled.
It's so good. It's so good. And Tom Holland has solidified himself as Spider-Man. I can now only picture Tom as this character. I can't picture anybody else anymore. He is now with me. He is now to me what RDJ is to Iron Man. I can't pick anybody else but Tom as Peter. He has done it, and I'm proud of him for doing it. He stood by this. He stood by his movie. He stood by this series, and it was his reasoning that Spider-Man still with Marvel. So thank you, Tom Holland, for giving us what is arguably the best superhero movie of the year to me, which is Spider-Man: Far From Home. So that's number 3.
Interesting statements there, Zachary.
Thank you.
I think I might know your other 2. Do you know mine?
No. Oh, I know one of them.
So number 2
is I'll be really mad if it's not on your list.
Oh, Joker? No, he got an honorable mention. I'm just kidding. It's number 2.
Oh, you scared me. My heart skipped a beat.
Nah, I saw better movies, you know. It just wasn't like it was just
How dare you say that about Arthur? How dare you?
Basically everything goes against, honestly. I wasn't seen. You walked over my dead body.
Good job.
Straight into the honorable mentions. You are correct. No, just kidding. No. We also have an hour and a half long review talking about Joker in very full length, and I'm going to reiterate what I said there. I have never truly ever seen a portrayal of Joker, like the character of Joker, that I love, that I truly, and I mean emotionally, that I'm like, yes, this is it. There's nothing else that can beat it. Other people can try. You can, I'll give them the benefit of their doubt, but their doubt is true because they can't top this. It was well written. The cinematography was gorgeous. The final 30
score.
minutes are just mesmerizing. And honestly, like truly, if you've not seen this, you're sleeping on something beautiful and
You
you
really
need to
are.
change it. It's out. You can rent it as we speak. I think. Maybe
You
you
can
can
buy
buy
it
it.
right now. You can't rent it. You can't buy it.
Well, you can buy it, and you should do that anyways because you're gonna thank us later. So
You
ultimately,
really are.
you're not disappointing yourself. It's truly amazing, but it's not as amazing as my number one.
So, what I said about Spider-Man being the best superhero movie of the year is true. It is the best superhero movie of the year. My number two is one of the best films of the year. I'm not categorizing a superhero movie. Avengers Endgame is not just the best superhero. It's a great movie. It is impactful, it is endearing, and it gave me the performance of the year. And one of the performances of the year. Robert Downey Jr. will be missed within this universe. I don't know how they're going to do it. I really don't. I'm going to cry just thinking about it. The last 5 minutes of him with this movie, I will never forget. I well up every time. It sucks watching it happen. But when Pepper tells him, it's okay, you can rest now, I just blubber. It is a moment I'll never forget. What Steve finally gets to do at the end of this movie makes me want to cry. They gave my two favorite characters in the MCU their due, and the Russos are incredible. And they gave me one of my most favorite movies of all time, and that is Avengers Endgame. That's my number two. I love this movie to death.
My number one movie of 2019 is what? Do you think, Zachary? I know yours. Do you know mine?
I can honestly say I don't. What's your number one movie, Jake?
Zachary, how do you not know what my number one movie is? I just told you like 2 days ago. It was an indie horror film that came out earlier this year. Stars Florence Pugh. Real okay. You disappoint me as a brother, as a soul, as a human.
Oi. Oh.
Oh, again. Oh, an audible. Oh.
I just remembered. Because I hadn't heard it yet. I was like, click in my head. Would you count that as an indie movie?
Yeah, I would. It did the par money wise for an indie movie.
All right, Jacob. The floor is yours.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna talk about the beauty that is Midsummer that I've now seen 4 times.
If you want to make the screen bigger, you can.
Oh, okay. I'll take myself. That's fine. Hi, people. So Midsummer is a movie that follows a girl who is going through a very somewhat of a rough breakup, one would say. Her parents had just committed suicide, and she goes on this road trip to Sweden where she gets invited to partake in Midsummer, which is this long, like 7 to 14 days or something like that, ritual that goes over a course of a very long time. And a lot of crazy things happen. To say this movie passed some boundaries is an understatement of the year. I mean, honestly, I watched the unrated cut as well, and it's passed some boundaries in that. And I think the rated R itself passed boundaries. The extended cut I recommend just in case you love the characters. They add on to it. They also make the boyfriend more of an asshole, which I'm grateful for. But there's just the moments at the end are so pleasing. Also, as much as I love all these movies on this list, it's the best camera work I think I've ever seen. Now I can't be topped. I'm hoping that's gonna be topped in the new year, obviously, since we always want to improve, and I cannot wait to see whatever Ari Aster does next. But by far, also Florence Pugh. Oh, Florence Pugh. She went from somebody who I had no idea who you were to one of my all-time favorite actresses in one performance, and that, my friend, is a feat to say themselves. But with that being said, I think we're going to take the table over to Zachary.
Okay.
I'm going to remove myself from stream now.
So, guys, Jacob already talked about it. I'm not going to float around it. It's Joker. Joker is my number one movie of the year. I have been saying since the first teaser came out for this film that it is going to be a special movie, and I was completely correct. This film is being scrutinized for praising violence and for um, glorifying what that means. And if you think that's true, then you don't get this movie at all. This is a beautiful character study on a man who doesn't feel like he exists in this world. And it's his descending in madness that makes this film incredible. The performance of the year, without a doubt, is Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck. This character is it's easy to get behind him and what he says. And the last 30 minutes of this movie on the Murray Show with him will go down as one of the best scenes in cinema ever. Because the speech that Arthur gives is completely true, and if people don't realize how true it is, then they don't get how society is right now. Because what he says in that movie is true at its core. Todd Phillips has now jumped up as one of my all-time favorite directors. The script in this movie is incredible. The score is my favorite score of the year behind Silvestri's score for Endgame. And the cinematography is gorgeous in this film. Now, the argument can be made that this takes a lot from King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, and I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I'm treating this as its own thing, and as its own thing, it is a work of art. And I have said this word a lot because I was a kid and I was, naive, and I threw this word around too many times, but I said it in the review, and it still holds true. This is a masterpiece. It's going to be very hard for me to go back to what DC's been doing, and I am very much looking forward to seeing whatever Joaquin and Todd do next together after this movie. And yes, my number one film of 2019 is Joker. That is all.
Well, that was very beautiful. And I'm very happy you got to go on that very long acceptance speech for the Oscar.
Thank you.
Makes you look bad. So we're going to be moving on to the most surprising. I have two.
I have two.
So we'll go back and forth. I have no particular order for either
Same.
of you. But yeah, so you can go first, I guess.
So since I already talked about it, Godzilla was one of my most surprising movies of the year. I wasn't expecting much out of it, and it turned out to be one of the best monster movies I've ever seen. And it's my top 10 of the year. I love this movie. I thought it genuinely shocked me how good it is.
So another movie that was talked about already, not by me, but by you. One of my most surprising movies this year was Hobbs and Shaw. Because I genuinely thought I wasn't going to like it, and it wasn't until I actually watched it that I was like, oh, okay, this is really, really good. I'm really surprised, and the chatter for it was kind of strong, but still I wasn't really sure. And it wasn't until I saw it that I was like, yeah, this is a really good movie. But it was good enough to make it my most surprising, but I also didn't want putting my best movies on my most surprising list, as I do think they're two different categories. So that's why I didn't make my top 10 best movies.
And my other one that didn't make the list, it was an honorable mention. I just didn't mention because I mentioned it here, was Alita Battle Angel. I was genuinely going into this movie going, the visuals are going to be good, but the movie itself, I was wrong. The story is really captivating. Rosa Salazar is a breakout star. She's incredible in this movie. Christoph Waltz is amazing in this movie. Jennifer, oh, what's her name? She's from Labyrinth. Jennifer. You know what I'm talking about. She is awesome in this movie. But the visual effects are incredible in this movie. They are fantastic. But it genuinely surprised me. I loved this movie. I thought it was really, really, really good. Really strong.
So my other one is kind of a controversial pick. So I'm excited to share it. And that would be Terminator Dark Fate. Told you, kind of controversial. Kind of controversial. I decided to put it as most surprising, one, because it didn't deserve anywhere near either the worst or best movies. And that's simply because I thought the action scenes were very strong. The performances, except for Winona Hamilton, were very, very strong. And I overall really did like the movie. And I wasn't mad about any of the choices that they made. I thought it was really shocking and a little distasteful, but nothing maddening. Maybe I'm quite wrong about that. But ultimately, I had zero expectations. And so ultimately, how is this not on my most surprising list? No one will ever know. Because it deserves to be here because I truly thought it was going to be horrible. You know, because I don't like Terminator.
All right, so we're going to do the worst of the decade or the best of the decade first?
So I decided to swap them together, best and worst. Okay. We'll just talk about them together, whatever. I do not have a worst movie. So
I do.
I might have to gallop off. Oh, that one Terminator movie come out? Not Terminator, a Transformers movie come out this year.
In this decade? Which one?
The last one.
Last night, yeah, I did.
See, here's the problem. Giving a movie best of decade is such a big entitlement that, like, worst of decade is also a big entitlement. Like, that's a lot.
Oh, I don't care. This movie, I'm going to say, deserves it.
Well, we start with negatives for our top 10. We're going to start with positives for this one, and then we'll talk about negatives.
So I figure we do with like we do with our number one movies. We give each other our camera time for ours. So, and we're going to do it. You're going to go first. I'll go second.
Okay, so I have two best movies of the decade. One,
you have to pick one.
No, I don't. Ironically, I feel a little mad and a little aggravated. They're both Marvel movies. They're both part of the MCU. Judge me later for it. Okay.
Oh, don't worry. Mine's part of the MCU too. Don't worry.
So, ultimately, I think, how can we not say it? Avengers Endgame is one of the best movies of the 2010s. And I'll forever say it. You know, it's probably one of the best movies. You know, it's going to be up there like one of the greats and classics and things. At least it should be deserved like that. I highly doubt that it will because it's a comic book movie. But that's one of them. And then also Winter Soldier. And the reason why I chose Avengers Endgame is more like critically and like, you know, that's, I feel like is a very accepting best of decade. Whereas Winter Soldier is a much more personal one. I was going to go with either Friends with Benefits or Nights and Day because they are truly two of my favorite movies of all time. You know, and they both came out within the span of the 2010s. But
I'm not gonna lie. If you said Night and Day was the best movie of the decade, we would have fought for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
See, this is my point. It's such a big requirement.
We would have fought.
Oh, dick face. Either way, I didn't pick either of those movies as a judgmental people like my brother. Hold on. Back up. Since it's still talking about the best and worst movie of the decade, I could choose whatever movie. This is an opinionated question.
I know.
So my favorite movie of the decade was Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz.
I wouldn't say a word on camera
because it is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of my favorite action movies of all time. Friends with Benefits is my favorite comedy of all time. They both
understand.
They both because Mila Kunis is naked. I get it, exactly.
No, because Night and Day is bad. Difference of opinion.
Oh my. You know what? With that statement, I reject Winter Soldier and I put Night and Day. My best movie of the fucking decade. Zachary, you can take the seat.
Okay, that was funny.
You need to
Okay.
talk.
Okay. Um. So the two films that I have chosen, um, for best film of the decade are superhero movies. They are, but it just proves how strong they were this decade. And that is Avengers and The Dark Knight. I chose
Oh,
Avengers.
no. I have to contest here. I was going to put The Dark Knight as one of my best movies of the decade as well. Sorry, that came out in 2008. It is just Avengers. Let me fact check Avengers.
Came out in 2012.
I'm fact checking. Wow, there's a lot of Avengers. Yep. Avengers will work. The Dark Knight will not. Dark Knight Rises will. It came out in 2010. That's how we started the decade. But not how. Nope. Sorry. Just wanted to come in here and tell you were wrong. You chose the wrong choice.
Okay, well then it's easy to fix that. Since you didn't use it, I'll use it. Captain America: Winter Soldier. So we'll start with Avengers first. Avengers is a special film to me. Um, I remember when my mom came and got me from the library in sophomore year to take me to our screening of the Avengers, and this is when I got to see what I got. This is where we got to officially see what the MCU could really do, and it it changed the game. It We were able to process having all of these people on screen together, and it's something we'll never forget. Seeing the circle shot for the first time, I'll never forget it. Captain America: The Winter Soldier is not only one of the best superhero movies of the decade, but it is also one of the best noir films of the decade. And again, the Russo brothers, they just know how to do it with this character. And the introduction of Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier will go down as one of the best moments in cinema. And the fight scenes in this movie are incredible. But the story is where this movie shines. A story of betrayal, of friendship, and of trust never gets old. And Winter Soldier proved that with this movie. And that just proves that the MCU took over this decade. But it also proved that the MCU isn't just superhero films. They are great modern films that will be cherished, treasured, and also analyzed till the end of time. Yep.
I totally understand. I get it. I have never understood why they give Oscar speeches time limits. And now, after I've sat through two, I understand. It's a point, and it deserves to be there. Also, when people make thousands of pauses, wow, where's their breaths taken in that speech? But
So what's
with it being,
worse?
no, hold on, I don't have one. With that being said, I truly I can't think of one. Maybe Transformers last night, just because I can't think of one.
Nope, I got one that really earned it.
Well, I agree with you.
You might.
Oh, okay, I'm curious. Hold on, before we talk. Hold on. If we're gonna give all praise to MCU, because we truly did, we gave it the decade. I mean, we can also talk about the faults about the MCU, and that would be For the Dark World. It's one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah.
So it's up there. It's not probably worst of decade because I'm sure there's been worser movies in the decade, but
Perhaps.
it's definitely up there. But I do want to mention the MCU in particular here because Zachary makes a great point. There has been DC movies that have come out in this decade, and there has been Star Wars movies. There has been a lot of different movies that came out in the 2010s. But I feel like Marvel was the only one that truly shined to the point of where we received two movies of them. Well, I took it back because of you. But technically, two movies for both of us were Marvel movies until you took it back, because you're being rude. But still, you know what I mean? And I think it really does show what this truly, this franchise has done and Kevin Feige has done and how much it has shaped our lives. Because if we didn't love these characters as much, love these, the actors and everybody in it, then these movies wouldn't be the best of our decade, in our opinion.
Yeah.
So, sorry, just wanted to give them a little shout out. Tell me your worst movie because I'm curious.
Green Lantern. That's it. That's all. Just Green Lantern.
That did come out in 2011. I guess that's a good one.
That's all I gotta say. It's just Green Lantern.
Well, because Zachary introduced all this, I'm going to introduce our little game. I do want to mention before we jump into our little game, which will end this season podcast, which is just crazy. It's so crazy we're coming to an end with 9 episodes, technically 10 if you count the bonus. It's up to you. Your choices are made. But we play a game here called Approve or Disapprove every single month, where we approve or disapprove the months coming, for the movies. We have toilet movies that make us laugh uncontrollably. We have other movies that could also make us laugh uncontrollably. We'll just have to wait and see how the movie goes, how this goes. But it's a game that we play. You can always play it down in the comments down below. We love it, if you want to play. But also to podcast listeners, there will be an image that will pull up the IMDb section in case you want to go over to YouTube and actually watch the video format of this if that's something you're interested in, because there is a video, there is a picture to go along with this. You don't have to. You can just listen. We don't care. But it's the option if you want it to be there.
So January is kind of small.
But honestly, though, I just looked at the list, and it was actually not a bad list. Sorry, I was fact checking.
Oy vey. Whew.
So we're just going to start off this. I'm going to read the title, and we give an approve or disapprove, or we can even go meh. We don't have to be judgmental here, truly. So there's also a shocking one in here, which I didn't know moved. Did you know it moved? I didn't know it moved. Either way. So the first one we're going to talk about is The Grudge. Zachary, what's your rating on The Grudge? Yeah. Mine's it's truly just like a meh here. For my birthday, I'm doing a double feature where I'm seeing both The Grudge and Underwater back to back. So we'll see how they are.
Have fun with that.
Moving on to 1917, which comes out January 10th. I'm pretty sure this is when it goes wide, which is
wide is January 10th.
Because I'm pretty sure it does go limited for a few weeks. So we did talk about last month. We'll talk about it again this month. Do we think 1917 looks any better? Yeah, see, I'm still with the meh here. I just don't know I can watch a whole movie shot in one shot continuously.
You watched Birdman.
I didn't like Birdman.
Well, that's a shame on you.
Well, okay, moving on. Just Mercy. How do we feel? Yeah, we agree with
this. This looks so good.
This looks so good.
This looks so good.
Okay. Now, also, if we have any particular reasons why, we'll talk about it in case you feel like we're moving a little fast. Sometimes this could take 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes an hour. Really just depends. Like a boss.
I don't know.
Okay, so you do know. This is the Rose Byrne, Salma Hayek movie where they run a makeup company. Yeah, okay. We're here now. Thank you. Thank you for that. Ironically, though, what movie? I watched the movie with Dad the other, in theaters. I can't remember what it was, but we went and saw something, and they laughed at the trailer when we saw it, audibly laughed. And so some people thought it was funny. I was not a part of that list, but some people did. The next one is Underwater, which is a Kristen Stewart movie, which is the other movie I'm going to.
I don't know.
I'm going to give it. I'm seeing it. I picked it my birthday movie, so I have to approve it. I feel like. But ultimately, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I think it's going to be fun, which is all I'm looking for the movie. So
yeah.
Ultimately, I have no idea what The Informer is. Do you? They have some really good actors in it. That's why I asked. Okay,
I don't know.
January 17th, it has 2 big releases. The first one is Bad Boys for Life, Bad Boys 3. How do we feel? We approve this? Why do you approve it? Let me know. I've not heard of Rock.
Because I love the first two, and they're just fun action movies. This is when Michael Bay's at his strongest with the first two, and Martin Lawrence and Will Smith have really good chemistry. So and even though the movie's just okay, it'll be a fun time at the theater.
So it also comes out in January when nothing else is really coming out. So hopefully it does well in that release as well. January is known where they put movies where they don't think they're going to succeed. You know, it's not unknown for people.
Let's hope it doesn't. I think it's going to succeed.
Hopefully it does. Next one is Doolittle. How are we feeling about that? Yeah, no, you know what? I'm one with a meh here. We're not disapproving. We're not approving. It's a meh. That's accurate. I would like you to vocally tell us why you think this is such a trash movie.
Because I feel bad for Art. This is RDJ's next project after Endgame, and it just doesn't look good at all. And the visuals, I'm sniffing some cat visuals in this scenario.
No,
I'm sniffing them.
I will let you know if the cat visuals are actually that bad. You know, oh no, soon. So I don't know what the wave is. I don't know what DHY. Yep. Moving on. I do kind of know what The Gentleman is. Have you heard of this?
Okay, so this is Guy Ritchie's new movie with Matthew McConaughey, and I'm just gonna be frank. Guy Ritchie, not my favorite director. He directed the worst movie of 2018, which was the Robin Hood.
Hey, I liked Robin Hood.
Not Robin Hood.
No, you're thinking of the right one. It is Robin Hood.
No, the one with Charlie Hunnam.
Charlie Hunnam.
King Arthur.
Oh, okay. I like that as well.
Well, to each his own.
Yeah. I evicted it. That's how much we didn't like this movie. Is I truly I sent it out into the other realm. Go back. So I don't know what Run is, but Sarah Paulson's in it, so I'm sure I'll watch it. Whatever.
Her name is Sarah Paulson.
And that is my life. So moving on to it's rated PG-13. Oh, I hate horror movies. I hate horror movies with passion. It's just an honest fucking truth. See, okay, The Grudge at least is real and it's rated R. Like, come on, be ballsy. Make this rated R. I don't really know if it deserves a rated R rating, but I want it to be rated R. Is that too much to ask for? Little dick faces. I honestly don't really think it looks that good, but still, little jerkus. So I'm just gonna disapprove it. Yeah, what's disapproving? Yeah. You disapprove all horror movies, so no shocking. That's it.
Yep. We have 4 kind of major-ish releases for January.
So I have to ask you. Wait, what's the 4?
Just Mercy, The Grudge, Bad Boys, and Doolittle.
See, I feel like Underwater could do well. We'll see. Does have T.J. Miller in it, so that could be a fault. We'll have to wait and see. But out of all these, which one do you think will be the standout?
The standout, honestly, Just Mercy.
Nice.
I'm genuinely thinking Just Mercy is going to stand out really a lot. I would say 1917, but it's coming out earlier, so it's getting its moment right now. I really think Just Mercy's got a really good shot at, shocking people. And Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx in the same movie. I mean, you can't go wrong with that combo. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them together, and I'm looking forward to being my first movie of the month. It's gonna be a good first movie to go watch for the month. I'm really excited about it.
Well, guys, with approve or disapprove being over, that brings us to the end of an era. Technically, end of 2 eras. It's kind of sad, to be honest with you.
I know.
We've been doing this since October, on actual different platforms and different things like that. Technically, we've been doing podcasts since earlier than this, but they didn't. They were just either wasn't uploaded because somebody or something. Whatever that was.
I think what's more crazier about this for me is that this is the most consistent thing you and I have done all year.
I agree. It has been extremely. Once we started it, we have stuck to it, and it's been very consistent. And that is partially why we're doing award stuff to keep us in, being like, okay, we need to do this and things.
Yeah.
We'll be back in February. January is just a very known month for nothing happening.
Just wait, like the biggest story in the world drops in January. We're not covering it.
Well, then we would have to make a special, be like a bonus episode, like, guys, did you hear? Blah, 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 blah. And we'll be like, oh yes, we did. But either way, we will. We're not gone. If you listen to us exclusively on any different platforms, you'll hear us again, as we talked about.
Yeah, I think we really need to reiterate that. All of the award stuff coming out during the month of January is all audio. There will not be any of it will be video-wise. The video will be saving for when we come back for the podcast back in February. So all of the awards stuff, all the Golden Globes nominations, the show, Oscar nominations, the show will all be back. Will be audio. However, if you want to keep your calendar checked, Weekend Movie Bros Season 2 will premiere the week before the Oscars or week after.
So, Weekend Movie Bros premieres on February 1st. Ironically, we'll be filming it on the Friday, the last Friday of January. It's Saturday is the 1st. So it'll be premiering on normal, like on its normal day. And things. The Oscars themselves, I keep looking up and I keep forgetting. I think it's at the end of February, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just very quickly Google it. Yeah, okay. February 9th is the end of Oscars. No, bless myself. And it will be the second episode. We'll have probably a normal week. On Friday, we'll come in, we'll record our normal podcast. It'll go up on Saturday, and then they'll get a bonus episode that same week at some point because the Oscars are on that 9th type of thing. The nominations and Golden Globes both premiere in the month of January, and Mike Zachary said, or Ray, whoever, whatever you want to call that man, what he said was that those episodes, any awards fair episodes, are simply going to be voice. There is no video to them. Yeah.
All right. Well then.
Yeah.
Until February, guys. We will see you then.
And with that being said, because no one did an outro, I'll do it for you. Is you need to like, rate, comment, whatever, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing right now.
And make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that notification bell. So that way you're notified of all of our latest videos.
Sure. All right. Now we're going to jump into a little tune until it tells me it's over. Here we go. Are you ready? I'm ready.